is a presidential vlog. I'm going to be presidential candidate 2056, or sorry, 2066, 2058, which is 2056 or 2060. My strategy is to wait for the debates and to maybe make a new channel, or maybe stack. I don't know. But I'm inevitably going to get into politics a little bit by watching the debates. But I don't want to study that politics stuff. I just want to let the American people know I'm pro-life, and we'll figure everything else out as we go. I'm going to have a cabinet. They're going to do all the politics stuff. Biden was able to do it without moving or thinking. And I'm just going to give great talks on how our country needs to love each other and to get to work and to provide for our families and put the receptacle provided for its purpose. This world is so evil, it's dripping with evil. I don't want to make it, my main goal, be as good as I can be, do as I'm told. I'm not going to be a president that is just purely, I do whatever I want. I'm not going to be like Trump. I'm going to take orders from my VP and my cabinet specifically, and maybe a couple other designated people who my cabinet lets me get bossed around by. But I'm going to have a sound piece in my ear. I might not get word for word from the sound piece people, but as long as we're not denying pro-life, it's like, I just want to be funny. I want to be charismatic. I want to be loved and hated, and mostly loved, because I want to be funny. But the pro-choice people are never going to love me. There's no way to get them. But I'm going to run as a Democrat. And I have to be very careful when taking political donations because of the nature of conditional gifts. I want it to be a grassroots campaign, and I want people to love me for my pro-life and my dynamic cabinet. Micro UBI is my second policy, $77 a month. It's not going to help very many middle class people, but it'll help some of the lower class, some of them, pretty much all of them. Hey, I'll take $77. You feel the love from the government. Load it up on your ID card. I don't know. Or you could take 888 at the end of the year as a stimulus check, basically. And it's just cute. I always like that. We love everyone, so we give them a tiny bit of money, but not enough to ruin the economy and raise all the prices. And I didn't like the Andrew Yang. It was just too much money. $1,000 a month I thought was too much. The worst part about it is he didn't stack it on top of welfare and disability, and he wanted them to get a job and to pick, and he had his little workaround with his language, but then he was going to give it to the 250K people. So that was a failure of a policy. People made fun of him for that. And he had disastrous interviews. He looked like he was constantly just saying the same thing over and over again, not very entertaining. They asked him, sweets or salty? Salty or sweet? He said, dare I say both? That's not a good sign. He doesn't even know what he thinks is better between salty and sweet. That's not a very good leader. Now, in my system, I don't need to know what to do, and I'm not even going to overpower people that much. It's like, even if I make executive orders, it's going to be a 20-man decision. Hey, should I do this executive order? No, okay. It's not going to be me alone doing it. So I'm going to be a puppet, but puppet for the righteous and for the cabinet, not for the big donors, not to keep promises of and stuff like that, bribing. And I'm definitely going to take the paycheck. I was talking to my friend Kyle about this. I don't want to work. I don't want to, not get paid. But, I'll take the money. Taking that money. It's cute. And I only want to run for one term. I like variety. And the people that hate me, I don't want them to put up with me for 8 years. I like to get a new guy in there every time. And man, we missed that guy. Well, that's okay. You miss him. Not everyone misses him. I only want to do one term. Even if I really want to do a second term. I'll be in the cabinet for the second term. But also I want to vote people out of the cabinet every month. You're fired. You are fired. You're fired. Or we could just stack people into the cabinet, and then once they're in there, they stay. The cabinet keeps growing. But I want the American people to vote in the cabinet members. They feel like they have another vote and they have another chance to affect me, and I think it'd be fun. Oh. 7 minutes, 29 seconds. Matthew 7:29. So one of the things that makes me unique is I have 326 Bible verses memorized with the chapter and verse, which is very powerful because about half the country respects the Bible. And the Bible has a lot of good verses in it. A lot of great verses. I just had a thought. I was praying with Gary. Gary is 64 years old. And he says, I'm faithful. But president, man, I just, seems like a long shot. Well, I learned about this guy in school, Adolf Hitler, and he went to jail and wrote a book called something, Cayenne Memph or something. And he plotted it out, how he was going to be president. And he came out roaring. And he just yelled his way in. These days you have cameras, you have phones, and you can be in a bunch of places at once. I just need someone to pick up one of my videos and support me and share me on Facebook, and then they share it, and then what do you think about these ideas? These are new ideas. I don't want concentrated power into me, but rather into my team, into us. And I want the American people to make a decision together. And when I go to sign a bill, I'm going to have AI read it and tell me what it says. Then I'll know what I'm signing. Enough of these 5,000-page bills that you sign, with vague writing, and Like, I don't even know what I'm signing. I'm going to pray about it, and I'm going to sign things that the cabinet wants me to sign. If I feel the Lord doesn't want me to do it, then I won't do it, you know. But generally, it's just, if they want me to do it, I'll do it. I worked at the Ganada Bowl, and I was constantly being yelled at. I grew up here in Livermore. I had teachers my whole life. I've been very obedient. When someone tells me to do something, I'll do it. And I just got to get into those debates. And whenever a policy comes up, I'll say I'll work on it with my cabinet and I'll pray for it. I just want the American people to have a candidate that they trust. Trust is more important than so many other things these days. And I have all these Bible verses memorized, and you can ask my friends about me, and he's a great guy, and the prom king has me as his top 8. The righteous love me. The churches love me. The only people that are going to hate me are the pro-choice people. My foreign policy, completely up to my cabinet. And the foreign policy people, it's just, I don't know. I'm not going to be the best commander-in-chief ever. I just want to be chief citizen. And I'm a bipolar schizophrenic, so, you know. I'm a bipolar schizophrenic. That's 2.8% of the population. Hope you don't. People think that and they say, oh, they're crazy. It's like, well, yes, but there's more to it than that. Like, we have advantages too. I'm very good at Tetris. Very good at Guitar Hero. I have really good memory. I've never done drugs. Never been drunk. I've never had sex. 33, never had sex. I've had opportunities. I'm a pretty decent looking guy. I look pretty good in this, but I could look a little bit better, but this is about as good as I look, honestly. But I'm not bad looking. I don't know. I trust the Lord, and I turned it down. I turned down those opportunities. I never wanted to cash in on fornication. Just trust the Lord. It's a big commandment, you know. And as I learn from other people's mistakes and the heartbreak, and when you get to the other side, it's just you unlock something. And this guy, Jack, he told me, once you do it once, you know what it is. And he was a big time introvert, and I'm an introvert too. So I just know that it would be, you know, it's just so much. But I'm going to tell a lot of jokes. I'm going to use sarcasm and language that some are going to understand, think it's funny, and then other people maybe not. Okay, no tea. But you gotta listen to the whole thing. And I'm gonna explain to the American people why we chose what we chose. And I'm actually gonna have a video of our cabinet. We're gonna have private discussions, but we'll have a lot of public debate too. And I'll just start whipping out Bible verses why this makes sense or why it doesn't make sense. But I'm just gonna lead the country with my mouth, basically, and my mind. Well, yeah, most of them are not. It's just, I have a mind, and I have, like I said, I'm 243rd best chess player in the world for anti-chess. I have the world record for the most Tetrises to start the game without a single double triple for any Tetris game. And I get in the top 10 a lot for Guitar Hero songs if they're easy, and I just get the score. I've tied for first a lot, but you know, we could use someone like me, a young, good-looking, tall, righteous, humble, obedient presidential candidate who doesn't take bribes, who's Christian. I'm going to be, you know, the In-N-Out burger of presidential candidates. I'm going to be a Democrat. And I want to have them to have a righteous option. I'm fired up. I feel called to do this. And I want to do this. And when I don't want to do this, I feel a blackness, a darkness, a rejection of a calling to not even try and take the easy way out, because it's not necessarily going to be the easiest thing ever. It might be fun the whole way through, but someone's going to want me to do it. I think it's going to be a spot where I post a video, post it on Facebook, then somebody shares it, and then I go viral, and I just make videos of me passionately laying out I was talking to this guy at the casino. It was a game called Baccarat, and I wasn't betting, I was just talking to him. He was a black guy. And I said, would you vote for me? And he was betting big, so he said, well, I'd have to see what your policies are, which is one of the best answers I've ever heard. It's an answer that I get a lot. Well, not a lot, but from the righteous, I'll get it. So a lot of people just say, oh, I vote for you. Now that I know you, it's like, that was easy, before I even know the policies. But then I told him all of my plans and stuff, and he thought that was kind of cool. But I see my presidential calling as just a second greatest commandment issue, where you can get a large quantity of the second greatest commandment going. The first greatest commandment is to love God. But if you can make politics better, and a lot of times in politics it's not that great. It's a stagnant cabinet. I want the American people to have more influence on the world as we go. And 18 minutes, okay. Yeah, as you can see, I'm pretty serious about this. Like I was in the hospital, and was really going through some stuff. My friend Philip believes in me, and I was just going through so many things there, and I decided to start fantasizing about being president, and all of a sudden I felt good. I felt better. It was like, whether I get elected or not, God says, I see your heart and you want to help, you know. Even if there's no way to actually get elected and to win or to get up there on stage, God sees your thoughts. He records them, and it's not a foolish thought. It's a thought that little kids would have growing up, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could be president. You have more potential than the adults as a kid. And if any kid wants to, and I want to inspire young people to run as well. Let them know you don't have to be a congressman. The the founding fathers, they set it up. Born in the U.S., 35 years or older, been in the country for 21 years or more. Those are the only 3 rules to be president. You're qualified if you have that. Right now, I'm 33. So 2028 would be the earliest I could run. And I think that would be too early. That's when I want to start. I mean, I'm not going to be viral at that point anyway. The plan is I'll just do a bunch of reaction videos and point out the flaws in people's arguments, and also why I like certain guys. I want to watch the Democrat and Republican debates, and I want to basically rip them all to pieces and occasionally throw them a bone. That's a really good line, and wow, I should take that to my arsenal. I love all the characters that we have. Obama was Obama, arguably, one of the best speakers ever. You have Romney, who is this righteous guy, and he flip-flops. Well, I'm gonna flip-flop too on things, because once I hear another argument, but also I'm gonna enact policies that I don't want to enact myself, but my cabinet's gonna overwhelm me with the majority. And I might have a righteous cabinet to begin with, but the American people might actually send me a celebrity cabinet where I get, Taylor Swift coming in, and I get, I'll get a pro athlete, Steph Curry or something. And all of a sudden they have a different take, and they have a different vibe, and they have a different way of thinking. And they say, well, we want this, and they overwhelm me with new information and new feelings and new kind of feelings. And I say, well, I'm still not convinced, but I kind of decided, as long as you're not going against the pro-life position, if you guys want to, even if you want to get rid of UBI, it's too expensive and it's too much work and it's not enough money to make it worth it. And it's like, well, that's my second favorite policy. But if it's 21-0, okay, well, I guess we're doing no UBI. It's too expensive, guys. I don't know why it's too expensive. Can we at least, puff up the welfare, disability, and the food stamps by 9%, 10%? Sure. Oh, okay, cool. And then we get 18-3 on that. Okay, great. My idea, their vote. Now we raise the welfare, or the disability, or the food stamps, or we give out more food stamp cards to more people. I'm a recipient of food stamps and disability, and I specifically going to El Pollo Loco and Taco Bell specifically, I love it. I love using it, going in the store, and I feel like, I already know the government loves me from the laws that we've held on to all these years, and the Constitution, the 3 branches of government, they're amazing. It's an amazing country, and the rest of the countries are yet to catch up. There are some countries that have UBI, which is, you could argue very attractive for some people, but they don't have guns. They don't have freedom of speech, really, as much. There's pros and cons to the different countries, but I was floored when I was at the bowling alley, and these not little kids, but they were like 12 to 16 maybe, I don't know, in that age, like teenagers, right? And they were here visiting. I said, oh, do you guys think America's better than Germany? That's why you're here, right? You wouldn't be here. And they said, oh no, we think Germany's better. All of them said that. I was like, really? And I fell to the ground. Literally fell to the ground. And I couldn't believe it. But I think there's something with intimacy when you're born in a place. I mean, that's why, you have to be American to run as a president. But the whole pro-life thing, we're just going to make it illegal to kill the babies in the womb. And, that's all I'm saying. Illegal, you guys. It's gross. It's wicked. And it's murder. It's murder of an innocent being. We already have laws against, killing bald eagle eggs, fertilized eggs. It's like, well, it's about to be a bird. And it's your stomach, but it's your boyfriend's or your whatever husband's baby. And in my worldview, this is my truth. This is what I'm going to tell them. This is my worldview, my truth. The God that I worship says it's a baby. So in my world, it's a baby. So if you don't want my worldview, then you can vote for somebody else. But if you vote for me, you're getting a pro-life and you're getting a dynamic cabinet. We get this one, you can get all the other policies. If you guys can handpick a wicked cabinet, you can pretty much get all the other laws going. And we can do whatever presidents are doing these days. But I'm not going to be the mastermind of all the policies. And I don't think the president should be the mastermind of all the policies. That's why we have the cabinet and we have help. And we're all in this together. But I also want to run as a Democrat to give people a choice to be pro-life as a Democrat. Because the Democrats have they're pro the poor, which I am too. And my dad was a lifelong Democrat, sticking to his party. And he had the most euphoria he's ever had in his life voting for Trump when he finally switched over. Trump-Pence. And I voted Trump-Pence as well, that election. But I write in Jesus Christ every time now. And there's about 100 reasons for that. I could go through them, but I just love him so much. And I love him. And also, I'm going to lose a lot of votes. So, not a lot, but a decent amount. Because I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I'm pretty deep into it. Romney was, and he almost won. The difference is I don't have the covenant of consecration. I haven't merged myself into those covenants. He did. So they often said on the radio, like, oh, what if he listens to Nelson? What if Nelson has an idea and they tell him to do something? He has to do it. He's giving everything. And I love that church so much. For a lot of different reasons. Love the doctrine, love the theology, love Joseph Smith, I love Nelson, and the Q15. There's not a single guy in there I don't like. I mean, one of my favorites is Dieter F. Uchtdorf, and he's technically my 15th favorite because, or whatever, but I love him. I love it when he gets up there. I love it when he speaks. The Q70 is also incredible. And it's like you can feel the authentic righteousness. Ooh! I just saw a shooting star. It went from here to here. Wow. And I prayed right here and over there and over here for shooting stars specifically means yes. And if there's two within like a second or two at the same time, that means no. And I've only seen it one time, and I wasn't even thinking about anything. It was just God wanted to let me know he could do it. Boom, boom. If there's two of them, that means no. So I said, authentic righteousness, which I don't think anyone's ever said that. And God really liked it. So it was just boom. It was like a it was a up here, down here. Most shooting stars are vertical, but it was top to bottom. Bang. It was like boom, boom. And I've made videos, or I've preached before, where I'll walk around and I'll get 8 shooting stars in like an hour, which is a lot. It's like, it might as well be a, wow. Huh. That was amazing. Wow. You can sense the, thus saith the Lord, authentic righteousness. Wow. Wow. It's amazing. Wow. 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 Anyways, I don't want to burden the American public and lose 2% of the vote by having the covenant consecration. I could just get it after I run. Unless the Holy Spirit drives me through the covenant path, I don't know if that's going to happen. The future is open, but the plan is I'm going to almost certainly be a Melchizedek priest because I had it in my patriarchal blessing. I'm an Aaronic priest. I've turned down the Melchizedek priesthood twice because I didn't feel worthy. And then when I did feel worthy, I didn't even think to go get it. But I would say I'm pretty much more worthy than I've ever been. I did make a video on how I wasn't worthy. But you can't just say, oh, I have this a host of venial sins. It's like, well, I just... You're never going to be ready to be an elder? Elder Smythe. Hey, it's Elder Smythe to you. I just love being an Aaronic priest. But I've passed the sacrament before. It's an honor, really. And I haven't baptized anyone in the church. That's another thing. I've done baptisms for the dead. I've done 5 baptisms. Well, I've done one session of 5 people. Baptism and confirmation. That was so cool. I've had some cool shooting stars. And you got to trust it, and you got to pray a lot for it, and they're usually like really, really in sync with the sentence. The sentence comes in, boom, boom. Sentence ends. Yes, amen. Yes. And if I ask for a shooting star, hey, send a shooting star. I've never had one. Well, I have had one, but I'm not going to mention it. I've had one right over here where I did it. And, well, okay, technically 2. I'm not going to say those stories, though. But there was one over here and one right here. where I asked for it and I didn't want it for both. But the times I've wanted it, no, I've never had that. If you want it, then it becomes a spot. I call it puppies for Christ. You're God's puppy, God's not your puppy. So if you have a, I don't know, the wrong attitude. God's timing, God is very, he knows what he's doing. But I remember crying about it. Because I thought I was asking so genuinely, and I asked for a yes, and then I asked for a no, and then I didn't get any shooting stars, and I was like, "Why are you talking to me?" And I was like freaking out, but it's better probably anyway, where it's more inspired. Like the last thing I was expecting was a shooting star right there, and it was, the best. Probably the best statement, one of the best statements in the whole video. It was 30 minutes. It was 30 minutes and 18 seconds when that star came out. Authentic righteousness. Whoa. Wow. Super cool. Super cool. Super cool. Anyways, I'm actually going to pick up votes. There's 17 million Latter-day Saints, although they're going to vote for the pro-life person anyway. I probably already have their vote. But my dad was a Democrat when it was Romney, but he was thinking about going to Romney because he's healthy as. And I was a big Ron Paul guy. Ron Paul was pro-life, but he didn't want to give out any foreign aid. That's the thing I didn't talk about. Foreign aid, I value Americans slightly more than non-Americans, but the way I see it is they're all kind of human. And I'm not saying we give, $70 to everyone in the world. No, that's not going to happen. Everyone in the U.S., yes. But I like to give some money to Africa and Uganda, Pakistan. They're really going through some stuff, And for Ron Paul to give zero, and it didn't really hit me. But he's like, yeah, it doesn't really work that well. You send it to the other countries, and then the king or the leader he takes most of it, and it's like, well, can we try to send the money? And he's like, no, I'd rather give it to poor people in this country. Foreign aid is taking money from poor people in this country, giving it to rich people in poor countries. It's just a really strong catchphrase that I hate because I don't believe it. But I was going straight to Facebook. Authentic righteousness. Wow, that was great. I mean, it was. I thought it was great without the shooting star. But the shooting star was chef's kiss on that one. Whew. It's the only one I've seen in a while, too. Oh, so cool. And I'm gonna need someone. I want to have crazy hairstyles because I want to be like the Demo Crazy party. I'm openly schizophrenic. I'm openly bipolar. I'm technically bipolar with psychotic features, but I was this close to getting this schizophrenic diagnosis. But my mom was bipolar. I had mostly schizophrenic, whatever it was called, evidence or whatever, like symptoms or whatever. But then they're like, no, we think we're going to go with bipolar because your mom's bipolar, and we'll just say psychotic features. So I was like, okay. And I take lithium. I've taken other meds. I take risperidone at times. And they do stuff. I remember the first couple of years, I was in denial that I was like, when I got better, I'd say, oh, I don't need to do this anymore. It's kind of like what I did with my retainer. I used to have a retainer for my teeth. But then once they got straight, I was just like, no, I'm not wearing this anymore. And I don't have it anymore. And my teeth haven't really moved. So I think the retainers are just a bunch of nonsense for the most part. Unless you want to be really straight teeth. But yeah, I was like, I'm going to try to use it. Well, I don't know. People are going to make fun of me for having that bipolar, and I don't know if we could trust a bipolar. It's like, listen, we have a cabinet. I'm going to be listening to them, submitting to them for our policies. It's just, don't you want it to be more entertaining? Because sometimes I'll be depressed, and it'll be more normal. I'll be like normal. My normal self is pretty cool, but like my man, anything could happen with that one. Like when I'm on the bipolar high and stuff. That might be fun, you know. And I always feel good about it. Like if I was, I don't know, 64, and I didn't have any Bible verses memorized, and I wasn't, let's say I was 5'10", it's like, well, it's like, President, it's like, I don't know. But for me, as a 6'3", good-looking white dude with 326 Bible verses memorized, the gift of speaking, and a calling, and a passion, and filled with the Holy Ghost, and I'm a Aaronic priest in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and just, I'm passionate for pro-life, and I have all these creativity and ideas. Yes, this is, and plus, not to mention, everyone better than me, more qualified than me, more awesome than me, smarter than me, more into politics, who are just killing it. Those people would never even consider running. Like the 5th grade teacher in Arkansas and Tennessee and Rhode Island, yeah, they might be better than me, but they would never, ever run, ever. They say, oh no, isn't that for congressman? What is that, president? I mean, guys, we should have hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of people better than me running. But the way I got really inspired was Joe Biden. He was the one who inspired me. He was like falling asleep on the job and rah, rah, rah. He said a lot of rah, 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 rah. And then he was going to try to run again. And then they went for Kamala. And the hardest speaking engagement I've ever done was at church to 130 people, you know, in a righteous setting, talking about God. I'm pretty sure I could talk to millions of people in a more casual setting, just telling them over and over again, I will not make any policies. My cabinet will make all the policies outside of the pro-life. And my cabinet will be pro-life to begin with, because I'm going to handpick the cabinet. And I'm going to have a variety, but they're all going to be pro-life people. But you can vote in pro-choice people, you know, into the cabinet. But I'm never going to go pro-choice. If it's 21 people who are pro-choice and that's my cabinet, well, we tell them out of the office. Then the next president can maybe do that. But I'm not. No, I just want to make an example. And I want to let young people know you can have bipolar schizophrenia. You could be a plumber or something. But just go online, do a reaction video to the political debates. Show your face. I'm probably not going to even show my face. But, you know, I'm just going to have the audio, because I like the screen recorder on my iPhone. So that's probably what I'm going to do. It's a high quality mic. It's just fun. Dude, it's like little, but it's like no editing needed for me. But you can edit, you can make it, and then there should be a bunch of people. There's gonna be a bunch of people out there, you know. There's gonna be a bunch of people out there who are running or thinking about running, and young people. And I want people to start preparing to do it in their 15, 18, 25. Just constantly thinking about being president and what they would do and strategizing about it. And also, I may run and lose might not win the Democratic nominee, although I think I would do great. I think I would win. I do. I think it would be a winning thing. If I lose to a Republican, then he's going to be pro-life. So they're going to have a pro-life versus pro-life. Whew, that's great. I don't know why I want to dunk this right now. Obedience. Obedience. I'm obeying God. I'm obeying Him. This is what I've called to do. Now, how did I get called to be president? I'll tell you. I was sitting on the table. I hit an epiphany. I was like, President of the United States of America. President, you know. Oh, I should be president. Bam! Phone starts ringing. I run over to it, inspired. It's Philip. And I immediately knew. I thought, oh, it's a sign. Like right when I had the epiphany, the one guy who wants me to be president calls me. I pick up and I said, Philip. He's like, yeah. I said, me, president, 2032. And he's like, yes. Eric should be president. Eric should be president. He has a girlfriend sitting there with her pregnant with a second baby. Eric should be president. Does he have your vote? It's amazing. So, and then the phone call ends, and I was like, whoa, I did it. Like that was 40% of the work. I opened up my old King James Bible, which I ended up giving away to a guy I baptized. I baptized him Christian. And, but I opened it up and it says, never in all of Israel have I seen someone with such great faith. I felt like it was from God. Like, even if I'm not going to be president, that's a lot of faith right there. And from Philip, too. Philip was just like, whoa! But oh yeah, and then I was thinking about the presidential calling again, and I was at the park, and I see America painted on the ground. I thought that was a sign too. I took a picture of it. I'm excited, quite frankly. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be good.